This is Trash Talk with your host, Garrett the Trash Man.
All right, what is up, everybody? Garrett the Trash Man. Let's trash talk. John, how we doing?
A-okay?
A-okay. Dude, me and you got busy schedules today, so I'm going to jump into the rant right now. All right, listen. I'm not going to take credit for this quote, but I want to share it because it's so good. And here's this quote. It's abundant creates, I really messed that up. Abundance produces, and I think produces and creates pretty interchangeable, but abundance produces opportunities. That was something I really spent some time on this morning, because last night was one of those nights where I was having some trouble sleeping. Thoughts going through the head, and what I found for myself is what I'd call an inappropriate use of my imagination, where I'm telling all sorts of crazy stories of what could happen, of this, that, and the other. That happens lots of times late at night, when I'm, sort of asleep, sort of awake. This worry will happen where I'm kind of in this dream state, and it's not restful and a lot of worry, but I'm not awake enough where I'm being responsible, like, hey, let's stop that. This is just fear creeping in, things like that. And so from midnight on last night, it was one of those nights for me. Got the house remodel going, doing a lot of big things happening here in the business, and my house is probably, I don't know, I'd call it 50% done. Is that about what you'd call it?
Almost.
Yeah. And I'd say the other 50% should be a lot faster than the first 50%.
Yeah.
But I'd say I'm about 50% done. And so, that gut feeling where you're worried about money, like, well, if I run out of money to finish this, like, just all these worries start coming. And then this morning I sat down, and part of what I do in the mornings is I watch some videos that get my mind right, and that quote was part of this video. And it really is so true. There's no way to see new opportunities and be open to them if you're not in an abundant mindset. If you're operating from fear, lack of courage, you're just so closed in and limited. And abundance is what creates it, produces it, because then you can actually see all that's out there. And it's super helpful for me this morning because it flipped that. Like I said, I spent a couple hours last night tossing and turning, just worry. And it's not a process to change that. Like a lot of things are processes.
Mm-hmm.
It's a process to rewire yourself for that to be a default, but it's just a decision at any moment to like turn that off.
Yeah.
So
It's a start now.
Yep. Start now. Yeah. So that's my rant for today.
I like it.
What you got?
My rant is don't listen to the stories your head tells you.
Don't listen at all. I'm sliding in the chairs today, and I don't know why.
I always slide in the chairs. That's why I'm always like by the end of the podcast, I'm like, what's up? But don't listen to the stories your mind tells you. And the reason I say that is there was a conversation that I all of a sudden felt that I should have with someone that's very important in my life. And immediately, like all these stories and all this stuff started coming to my mind. I'm like, you know what? No, I'm just going to go have it right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to that person, sat down, and I said, listen, I'd like to talk to you about something. And usually, most people would be like, oh, great, now we're going to have this big negative talk, and I'm going to feel terrible, and they're going to feel terrible, and it's going to be nasty. And I was very intentional about, like, creating the setting to, like, listen, like, I just want to talk to you about something. It's not good, bad. It's just something that I'd like to create with you in this relationship. And, like, let's, like, can you just be open to that? Yeah. And so, like, we delved in, and we had an incredible conversation. And I already see it, like, producing different things that are a lot more aligned with what, we wanted in the relationship. And, like, boom. It was simple.
Up.
And I was like, man, if I would have listened to those stories, who knows how long I would have waited.
Dude, I've waited years for conversations like that in the past. And then you have it and you're like, wow, that was easy.
Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, just don't listen to the stories. It's no good ski.
Love it, dude. It's great advice right there. All right, so here's what I want to do. I want to just give everyone an update on what's going on in our world, because we've talked about this podcast, and we don't want to talk like you and I are up here on ivory towers preaching to people that listen to us like we know. Like, what we intend to do is just share what's going on in our heads as we go through building our lives, building our families, doing all the things that we're doing, and just sharing the experience with other people to hopefully motivate them, hopefully help them feel like they're not alone.
Yeah.
Like when things get hard, because I know in my life I've built pictures of some people that I look up to, like everything's just easy for them. It's just happening. There's never these downs and ups and these hard times and stuff. It's just easy going, and it's probably not the case for really anybody.
Yeah. No.
So anyway, I thought it'd be useful to just give a quick life update on both of us, like what's going on in our world, what we're working on, and just quickly share like our experiences in our life right now. So
Let's do a tour.
all right, dude, I ranted first. Why don't you start?
Yeah, no, right now, and really I would say probably the last 2.5 months has been kind of this stage of transition. And it's, there's still going to be some more of that. And in the sense of, our home care business has done really well of late and has grown well. And now, I've found clarity in the fact that, like, listen, like, yeah, I want to go in some different paths in some ways. And so, yeah, like we've created it to where I've got people doing things for me now in my home care business that I don't have to be as hands-on with the day-to-day, which I think will be really good for me. And it's creating great opportunities for them. And there's a lot of good things happening there. There's a lot of good things happening in our home care right now. And what's nice about that is it's opening up more opportunities for me. So I will be very soon, probably within the next, I'd say, week and a half to 2 weeks, a newly licensed real estate agent. And I am working on some big, and part of the reason of doing that is not only to be a real estate agent, but is to also work on my own stuff, which we are looking at doing some pretty big commercial real estate projects, and those are in the works, and there'll be more to come on those once we iron out a few details. And so, yeah, like in the work world, that's kind of where it's at. And guess what? That may sound all rosy, but at times that transition period's been a bit of a shit show.
I bet, dude.
And it's been messy, and it's been hard in some ways. And I don't want to say hard. It's just been messy. It's been different than I thought it would be, and that's okay. Like, yeah, it's just been different than I thought it'd be, but we're headed in a great direction, and I'm good with it. And we're also trying to, we got into our house. We built a house. For those of you who don't know, me and my family, we built a house last year, and we're in it now, but there's still a lot to do. There's still just lots of projects, landscaping, and a few things there. And so, yeah, it's just like, we've got this big juggling act going on, and it's trying to keep it all clean and organized and try not to create unintentional messes that are just gonna get in my way. And yeah, like I all the time feel like I'm just spinning my wheels, but then when I look at it from a big picture point of view, I'm like, hey, we're doing just fine.
Yeah.
We're getting there. There's definitely plenty of speed bumps. There's definitely plenty of things that aren't going exactly how I would like them to go and such. But man, I just look at life and I'm like, yeah, there's a lot going on, and some days you just have to do a lot of stuff that just kind of sucks, and you're not super excited to do it, but you need to get it done.
Mm-hmm.
But life is good.
That's what I love to hear, dude.
Life is good.
Life is good. Love it, man. Gratitude fixes everything, huh?
Amen to that.
Yeah. Well, dude, on mine, man, my experience of my life, like right now, is such a torn thing for me, because there's some stuff happening in the business that I've been working for years to get to the point that we're at now, and I'm really seeing it start to progress, and that's really good. And there's so much more I want to do with it, and at the same time, I feel so messy in my personal life. Like, and I don't even like separating like business and personal, because it's not like you are who you are. It's not like you show up, but I just separate that for the fact of like I intend to be steady Eddie. I think that's something super important in leaders, leaders of families and businesses. That's not the outside circumstances, but as a business leader, I would imagine, and a leader in your family and just a leader of yourself in your life, I would imagine you and a lot of our listeners could relate to this. Maybe not. I won't speak for you guys, but maybe showing up steady for others, for me, can really be like what's not seen is the battle that it takes to show up steady for others.
Ooh, I like that.
And that isn't to say that it's like, oh, fake it, like it's fine, because it's not a faking thing. It's like, all right, like I know who I need to be for these people, and I'm going to get right with myself right now so I can do that, even if it's for this hour meeting that we're going to be in here. And I've found in my personal life a lot of times too, that's why sometimes I can be more steady for, say, people in my business, the leaders in my business, than maybe my wife. Because the leaders in my business, I can say, okay, like I do not feel steady. I've got all this going on. Let me get myself right and let me show up for this 1 hour meeting, be who I need to be for them, and then, keep working on it. And like, I don't know, for me, lots of times it's a roller coaster. And that's a lot tougher to do for my wife sometimes, because it's not, or my kids even, because it's not 1 hour. It's not look good through this, like get to this meeting, be who you got to be, and let's do it. It's like all the time, 24/7.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I said the one thing isn't a process. It's a decision that makes the rewiring as a process, but I've definitely been feeling that in my experience of life. Like it's such a process, and recognizing the wins, the days where it's like, man, I had it together today. I was productive. I was who I need to be for the people that are important to my life, to create what I want to create in my life, and not get down on yourself too bad when you're not. And it's recognize it's a process, and you're looking for moving the needle forward. And so that's been my experience. And the things that are happening are, I spoke a little bit in my rant, is the remodel of my house. That's been something that's just kind of shaken me up, and it's been such a gift of a chance to show up with leadership. And because so many times, like, man, I would have so much different, but it's like a new thing every day I'm figuring out. And,
Amen to that.
and it's like, man, it makes a big difference in my life to not have a place that I don't really have a place I go and I feel like, all right, like this is home base. I'm good. Like, because like I am super grateful for the camp trailer that I could afford to go buy to have my family in until we get this done. I mean, it's immensely better than most people could produce, but it's still, it is what it is for me.
It's an ordeal.
Yeah, and then there's a couple other things happening there that are just it can get heavy, but like I said, I just want to share the experience, because I think so often, like you shared with yours, like, yeah, you're in this transition period and it's messy.
Mm-hmm.
From the outside looking in, for so many people, it's just like, oh, he's got together and that's great. And
half the time you don't even know if it's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, I think it's going to happen. I hope it's going to happen, but maybe it's not. Maybe it will. Let's see.
And so that being said, I guess to wrap it all up, like, don't be judging yourself like it's supposed to be something different that happens seamless, because very rarely does anything happen seamless for anybody. And if it is happening seamless, you're probably not doing big enough things.
Like that. Well, and I just wanted to say real quick, I have experienced very similar situations
Mm-hmm.
multiple times. And yeah, there's in the fact of, being in the middle of a remodel or building and living in a situation that you are grateful for because it could be not near so accommodating, but it's not near as accommodating as you would like it to be.
Yep.
And yeah, your personal life is just this big ball of craziness going on, and you're just kind of trying to keep it in your hands before it rolls out and rolls down the hill. You're like, ah. And I can relate to that, And the nice thing is that I've learned in those situations that, like, yeah, you may feel you may feel like too little of butter spread over too much toast at times.
Mm-hmm.
But the nice thing is it's gonna be over. You
Yeah.
know, it's not a 10-year commitment.
Mm-hmm.
It's another couple months commitment.
Yeah.
And it'll be over, and you'll get out of it on the other side and look back and be like, all right, yeah, there was some things that weren't great about that, but
And
definitely
soon it's
worth
over.
it.
There'll be parts you miss about it.
Yep. Oh, absolutely.
And most of the other parts will just be silly, funny.
Yeah.
So, love it, dude. Well, appreciate everyone listening. Yeah, we'll talk to you next week. Peace.